This is kind of a hard video to make because I was looking through Linda Albert's philosophy on classroom management, known as Cooperative Discipline. And there are, I think, some really great points that I want to talk about, and there are some facts that I think are a bit disconnected from the reality of a lot of public schools across the United States. So first and foremost, let's talk about what cooperative discipline is, and then I'll do a little bit of a dissection of the of what I view are the pros and cons, right? Because not everybody's going to see it the same way I do, and I, to be honest, I'm kind of on one of the extreme ends on what I think classroom discipline should look like. Okay, so the highlights of Linda Albert's cooperative discipline are based in the idea that students, first of all, are in control of their own behaviors and can really justify pretty much any decision that they make. Now, the crux of cooperative discipline is in the fact that teachers can kind of steer students to make what they determine as the right decision. That the negative behaviors, as seen by the teachers, come as a result of a student wanting to belong or a student crying for attention. And that with proper classroom management techniques, we can mitigate those types of disruptive behaviors. So Albert's suggestions, the things that she believes can really help create a healthy classroom environment, I think are some great pedagogical practices. I think that mindful planning, making sure that all students have accessibility to the material, and that means that we have to do a lot of work on differentiation so that our highest achieving and our students that need to really bridge that gap can all feel like they are making gains in a classroom. That's going to keep a lot of that behavior to a minimum. All right, making sure that we are being mindful in how we plan out our class periods, right? So that from the minute they come in to the minute they are done, they are engaged in some type of helpful, useful material, right? Because if the students don't value what's going on in your classroom, you better believe that the discipline is going to be something that you're going to struggle with, okay? There needs to be some clear and consistent consequences, and I'm very emphatic on being clear and consistent, because when the rules change, it's really confusing for students. I mean, it's confusing for us, right? There's a reason why we have a syllabus for all of our classes, because honestly, the teacher can be like, wait, did you read the syllabus? Because you knew exactly what to expect. Once that's established, there's not really an excuse. If they were to consistently change the goalposts on us, then we would have a reason to, even as adults, we would have a reason to act out in some way. It's not gonna look the same as a kid acting out, but really what spurs that behavior, it's the same thing for children and for adults, all right? So that's cooperative discipline. It's where you work as a team with all of the stakeholders. That means you as a teacher, the student, and even using the parents if they are available, to create a type of system that minimizes the opportunities for students to have disciplinary problems, okay? So that's the beginning of it. Here's what I like about that. What I like is that it does put a lot of, the onus is on the teachers, right? We're the ones that run the classroom. We're the ones that really need to be making sure that, hey, did I plan a decent lesson? Did I differentiate for all 30 different students I have? Did I do all these things to make sure my students aren't going to want to act out? All right, that's number one. Love that. That's why we get paid the big bucks, right? Okay. Something else that I like about it is that it really leverages that relationship between the teacher and the student to come to if I were to approach a student to be like, hey, look, this thing happened in my classroom. You threw a chair at another student. Can you tell me what's going on there? And yes, they may have a story about how so-and-so said something during lunch and that really triggered them. Fine. But we can also say, hey, this was the damage done to the classroom environment and to really our relationship and your relationship with that student. Typically, when you have those kinds of conversations with the stakeholders, some type of positive will come from it. Now, I'm not condoning allowing students to throw chairs. I'm just saying that instead of just kicking them out of the classroom, that's not cooperative discipline. Cooperative discipline is working with the individual to make sure that we can identify problems and we can grow from them. Okay, so the things I don't really like about this is that Albert talks a lot about relying on parents as stakeholders. And the reality is, You can't do that in so many different schools. My school being one of them. I mean, in the grade I teach, it's like 18% of my students are homeless, and 65% of my students come from single parent households. What do you mean like leverage the parents? They've got enough going on already. It's not it's not feasible. It makes me quite sad, and it's not feasible. So that's kind of my criticisms of it. Um, I don't want to ramble on too long. I wanted to give you guys just a real short, like, this is what it is. This is what I think is great. This is what I think needs might need a reevaluation, because I don't doubt that you could read this article top to bottom and apply it in a lot of schools across America. I also know that if you go to Title I schools, some of the obstacles that they deal with, this would only be one tool of many that you would need to start to manage classroom behaviors and to implement an effective disciplinary system. Also, oh yeah, one big thing, guys, there is not a whole lot punitive about it, which I love. Punitive discipline has no room in schools where students come in with trauma. It's like they got enough problems at home. Do not make them feel scared, afraid, or unhappy to be in your classroom. That's it. I'm gonna get off my soapbox now. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and have a great Memorial Day.
Yes, indeed, it's fun time, fun time, fun time.